Imagine waking up on a strange planet completely alone, surrounded by lifeless bodies. And the worst part, you don't even remember who you are. You're the only human left in this terrifying place. But when you try to step outside the ship, you realize something even more horrifying. There's not enough oxygen to survive. What would you do? Let's find out. So friends, today I'll be explaining one of the best and most innovative clean horror films of 2025, titled Ash. The movie is quite interesting and very different. You'll definitely enjoy watching it. Now, without any delay, let's get straight into the video. The story begins in the distant future, where we see a woman named Rhea floating inside a space station. She's jolted awake from a terrible nightmare. Because of course, even in space, you can't catch a break from anxiety dreams. When she opens her eyes, she finds herself alone on the space station, but something's terribly wrong. The entire place is in shambles. There are bloodstains everywhere, because nothing says good morning like waking up in a crime scene. Rhea looks around, confused, and is only slightly surprised. Slightly? Lady, that's not coffee spilled on the wall. She doesn't remember where she is, what happened, or even her own name. And great, amnesia, just what we needed. This mission's basically sponsored by Forget Me Not. Meanwhile, in the background, the space station keeps glitching system reset messages, warning sirens, and the whole haunted spaceship ambiance. Honestly, at this point, even Hal from 2001, A Space Odyssey would say, "Girl, run." Still in full zombie mode, Rhea starts walking forward, and then she sees dead bodies. Finally, some decor to match the blood splatter. She stares at them, but again, nothing clicks. She has no idea how they died or even who they are. Yes, all those dead bodies belong to her own team, but Rhea, blank as a whiteboard. She still remembers absolutely nothing, not even herself. At this point, the space station remembers more than she does. She then notices more bloodstains, and you guessed it, starts following them. The trail leads her outside the space station. Turns out the station is orbiting above a mysterious snowy planet, so naturally she decides to explore it. Because nothing bad ever happens when horror movie characters say, let's split up and investigate. Snow is falling, the atmosphere is eerie, and guess what? She finds even more dead bodies again, members of her own team. At this point, it's less a rescue mission and more a walking body count. Still, Rhea pushes forward, determined to explore the planet and figure out what actually happened here. But going further, Rhea sees a dark figure at a distance. Ah yes, mysterious shadowy figure, because the blood and bodies weren't enough to scream, leave now. This figure looked exactly like Rhea. Not similar, not kinda close, exactly like her. Because what's scarier than space? Space with your evil twin. Even creepier, the dark figure was mimicking her every move. But within a few moments, the dark figure suddenly disappears. Rhea walks forward and stares into the distance, but plot twist, there's a ditch right ahead. She narrowly escapes falling into it. Can someone please get this woman a helmet with peripheral vision? Now, she notices strange lights in the sky that seem to be creating illusions. Suddenly, Rhea starts having trouble breathing. She somehow scrambles back to the space station and slams the door shut behind her. That's the smartest thing she's done so far. Meanwhile, Rhea begins to see visions and memories of her crew members. Half of the crew, including Kevin, Clark, and Davis, are shown eating together. Honestly, these guys just having dinner in her hallucination is the most chill thing happening so far. They talk about the planet, and finally, we learn its name, KOI-42. Their space station had landed here for a mission, and at that time, the team was happy and united. Before things went full Alien meets Black Mirror, Rhea regains consciousness again, finds a first aid kit, and takes out a patch that she applies to her neck, which gives her some relief. Space Advil for emotional trauma and near-death breathing issues. Convenient. Later, Rhea goes to take a bath. While bathing, she reflects on everything. What happened, how she lost her memory, and the weight of being trapped alone on a strange planet. Existential crisis level. Lather, rinse, repeat. Her companions are gone. She's stranded, and she's still missing pieces of the puzzle. After bathing, she checks the space station again, and surprised she sees more visions of her crew. Someone needs to install a firewall on her brain. She then goes to her friend Kevin's room, where she finds a book containing system logs of the shuttle. Finally, some actual plot clues. Took long enough. There, she also finds a video of herself. Suddenly, an alert blares movement detected at the space station's exterior airlock. She has left, creeps toward the airlock, and hides nearby. Honestly, give her credit here, most people would be in a fetal position eating emergency rations. A figure appears wearing a spacesuit. Rhea assumes it's a threat and launches a full attack, but plot twist, it's Brio, one of her own crew members. Oops. And not just any crew member, Brio was the captain in charge of the mission. He tries to stop Rhea by calling her name, and just like that, Rhea suddenly remembers her own name, because apparently all it takes to fix amnesia is someone shouting your name dramatically. She tells him that it was actually she who had sent the SOS message. She says something has happened to Clark, and that Clark has gone completely crazy. Wow, we're just casually accusing people of losing their minds now. Classic space drama. Brio asks if Clark did all of this, meaning the entire blood-soaked memory-wiping disaster. But Rhea, still blank. She barely even remembers Brio. Still, she takes Brio to Kevin's body, and when he sees it, he's completely shocked. Clark, conveniently, is nowhere to be found, and suspicion naturally falls on him. After all, the last time anyone heard from Rhea, she was warning about Clark in that SOS. So Clark is now the prime suspect in what might be the space edition of Among Us. Brio, desperate to make sense of this mess, keeps urging Rhea to remember more. But again, her memory's about as reliable as Earth's atmosphere at this point. Seriously, somebody installed a backup brain. He tells her to wait while he brings something and soon returns with a medbot. Finally, some real sci-fi tech entered the chat. The medbot, basically a robotic first aid unit, is used to patch up injuries. Brio lays Rhea down and starts the treatment. While she's being patched up, Brio spills the backstory. He explains that the crew was on a mission to find a habitable planet for humanity. Earth, surprise surprise, is overpopulated and falling apart. Shocking twist. Humans ruined Earth and now need a new planet. Who could have seen that coming? Oh right, everyone. This mission, named Vessel F, is their 7th and final attempt after 6 previous failures. Lucky number 7, or Cosmic Doom, we'll see. Their destination? Planet KOI-42, the one they're currently crashing and hallucinating on. It was humanity's last hope, so naturally the plan's going great, crew dead, memory gone, one possibly homicidal teammate on the loose. Once Rhea is patched up, she asks Brio who he really is and wants to know more, but Brio gives her the most cryptic answer ever. He says she'll remember on her own. Brio, sir, maybe now's not the time for vague Jedi-level nonsense. Just tell her already. He starts to explain slowly, but before it gets anywhere useful, the scene shifts to Rhea resting, and then she sees a terrifying figure near the door. It looks like an undead human. Because space wasn't scary enough, we needed zombie cameos, but the figure vanishes. Just a hallucination. Next, we see Rhea disposing of the remaining bodies of her fallen crew. While doing so, they start talking again about Clark. Maybe he's still out there somewhere on the planet. Brio mentions that if Clark's oxygen runs out, she'll have no choice but to return. But the biggest problem, their own oxygen is also limited, and in just a few days, it will run out. That's because why not add a ticking time bomb to this galactic mess? Well, in the meantime, Rhea notices a crew member carefully and once again starts having visions of that same undead human figure. She feels like maybe it was a glimpse of one of her old crew members. Totally normal reaction. Maybe this ghoul is just Dave from accounting. After this, she goes into the space station where she finds a pair of scissors. And because nothing says triggering memory like sharp objects, she starts having even more visions this time of someone murdering crew members with those same scissors. Naturally, she gets pretty disturbed thinking about all this. But before she can panic any further, a storm starts on the planet. Anyway, Rhea tells Brio that she's starting to remember him a little now. Wow, congratulations, Rhea. Remembering your coworkers after almost killing them is truly peak space etiquette. During their conversation, the oxygen level starts going down. Of course it does. Because what's more stressful than scissors, hallucinations, and stormy weather? Suffocating to death. This means there's some damage in the space station and oxygen is leaking. Both of them start searching for the damage, but Rhea finds it first and even manages to fix it. But because this is her, she immediately starts hallucinating again. Brio then informs Rhea that they've lost about 30% of their oxygen, which, shocker, is not good. This would only last them around 10 hours. Now, from Rhea's slowly returning memories, we learn that Clark came in contact with something, or let's say got infected, and that's what drove her crazy. Brio then says he will continue the mission and head out again. But Raya disagrees, saying Clark could still be alive and he can't just leave her behind. But Brio insists they have to proceed. Rhea stays stubborn until Brio suddenly yells at her to listen. As the captain, he pulls rank, and Rhea reluctantly agrees. After this, Brio gives her mad patches to keep her health stable. The scene then shifts to Rhea reading Kevin's book, and from this, we finally learn that there was a strong bond between Kevin and Raya. Ah yes, the emotional flashback trope just in time for the next round of trauma. There was a relationship between Rhea and Kevin. After this, Raya gets a vision where she finds herself on another planet. Her clothes have magically changed, and she sees a drone camera there. Then she encounters the cabin boy, who starts saying that it hurts. Meanwhile, Rhea spots a pit with some sort of energy inside it, but before she can contemplate whether this is an intergalactic crisis or just indigestion, her dream breaks. Rhea is then snapped back to reality and sees the same drone again. She connects it to the medbot and checks the footage inside. What she finds is her crew searching for resources on the planet, sent there by Brio. So much for Rhea's "we're all alone in space" vibe. Brio had pinpointed a spot on this planet where there was a weird hole-like thing. They reach it, and it turns out to be a giant mechanical hole, an ominous mechanical hole on an alien planet. It's only the most chilling sci-fi trope. How reassuring. Rhea starts putting the pieces together. This planet seems entirely mechanical, but what's even more shocking, it's alive. Now Davis, one of the crew, gets a little too close to the hole, and a dangerous energy erupts from it. Davis the first to go, and the first to fall victim to alien doom. At least he was useful for setting the bar on space disasters. The energy causes Davis's head to explode. Naturally, the crew starts panicking. While all this unfolds, Rhea is still watching the footage, and then surprise Brio arrives. Because apparently, Brio can't leave well enough alone. Rhea immediately understands that Brio knew everything, but true to form, he hid everything from her. He did this so she could stay focused on the mission. It's always the mission with these guys. Everyone is expendable, but the mission, oh, that's sacred. For Brio, this mission was everything. He had strict instructions that no matter what happened to anyone, the mission had to be completed. Now Rhea confronts Brio and he lies to her, saying he didn't know anything, but under pressure, he finally admits that yes, he knew everything about it, but his reasoning, he didn't tell her so she could stay focused on the mission, because hiding everything from someone who's literally fighting for survival is definitely the way to keep their mind on the job. And here we find out that the patches Brio gave to Raya were blocking her actual past memories. This means Brio was actively preventing her from remembering everything. Most importantly, Brio didn't want Rhea to remember anything because, you know, the mission is the priority, isn't it always? Human lives are just details to be ignored. Now, Rhea feels like she might have killed all her crew members, but she's not sure about it. Her memories are slowly coming back, and she's desperate to know the truth about her crew. A little late for that now, Rhea? But sure, let's dig up the past when you've got all this chaos going on. She insists that only after knowing everything about her crew will she leave this godforsaken planet. Also, Clark is still alive since they never found her body, but Brio, being the ever so dutiful leader, sticks to the mission and says he'll focus on that, not their past drama. Of course he will. Who cares about answers when you've got a mission to finish? Now, Rhea is completely helpless. She's got no other choice but to take Brio's word for it. Brio walks Rhea back to her room, patches her up again, and then leaves. Patch her up? Sure, but how about some emotional support while you're at it? But as soon as he leaves, something starts happening to Rhea, and she rips off the patch. This triggers visions of her past, and she remembers stepping on Addie with scissors. Great, now we know who had a bad day. Step aside, zombies here come with a psychotic vision of Rhea going full butcher. Looking at Adi, it seems like he had gone out of control, like a zombie. This madness must have been caused by the energy from that hole. You know, the energy that's been causing all kinds of chaos since they landed here. Let's just add, everything is broken to the list. It could also be something that came out of the hole that infected them all. To save herself, Rhea stabs and kills Adi, and it turns out not just Clark, but other people were infected too. After the vision, Rhea gets the full picture and heads to tell Brio everything, because nothing says revelation time like sharing your newfound understanding of a massive space conspiracy. But instead of Brio, she finds Clark wearing a spacesuit. This means that on this planet, humans can only breathe for a short time without a spacesuit, because breathing is such an overrated activity when you're on an alien planet. They needed spacesuits to survive, so Clark must still be alive. Rhea quietly slips away from Clark. Because because what else would she do? Confrontation is so overrated. Then she stumbles upon a shocking sight, Brio's dead body lying there. Now, Rhea's absolutely terrified. If Brio's dead, who has she been talking to this whole time? Now, that's the real question. Was she hallucinating a friendly face this whole time? Clark, of course, is hot on her heels to finish her off. But Raya, being the crafty escapee, avoids Clark and moves on. But Clark catches Raya. In a desperate move, Raya starts filling Clark's spacesuit with water, because why not drown your opponent in space? Spacesuits are so overrated anyway. This causes Clark to have trouble breathing, and she dies on the spot. Now Raya checks Clark's body with the medbot, only to find that there's no infection detected. Hold up, no infection. So Clark wasn't a zombie after all. What in the name of space madness was she doing? This leaves Rhea thinking, why did Clark attack her if her mind was still intact? After this, Rhea leaves Clark's body on the planet. She heads back to the space station to try and operate it, but surprisingly, it's not operational. Rhea's condition worsens, and she decides to double patch herself to ease the pain, because 2 patches are better than 1, right? Is this the space version of self-care? But it doesn't help, and she starts losing it, because naturally, no amount of space medicine can fix that level of insanity. In a desperate bid for answers, Rhea decides to scan Brio's body to figure out how and when he died. If you're going to solve a space mystery, you might as well start with a dead body, right? The medbot reveals that Brio died from a severe blow, and he had been dead for 51 hours. Now, Rhea's got a lot of questions. Meanwhile, she hears some movement on the ship, naturally, because at this point, the universe just loves torturing Rhea with suspense. Rhea heads to investigate with a flamethrower in hand. There, she finds Brio alive and in perfect condition. Excuse me, what? She just scanned his dead body. This is some next level trickery. Brio reveals the shocking truth, he's not Brio at all. It turns out this is an alien parasite, an outer space life form that hails from the planet. Ah, yes. Classic movie alien parasite disguise. It was an alien the whole time, wasn't it? This parasite is from above the planet, and the crew jokingly named it Ash. The official name of the planet, however, is KOI-42, just in case you were wondering what this creepy alien hotspot is called. Official business and all that. Then, in a moment of pure alien parasite behavior, it sticks its finger into the wound on Rhea's head, and the scene transitions into a flashback, because of course it's time for a flashback to answer all of life's many questions. In the flashback, the crew leaves their orbital space station and lands on planet KOI-42. Here we go. The pivotal moment of everything went to hell. David gets killed by the energy force, which was actually a stone. A stone? Yep, because what better weapon than a massive rock flung through space by an alien planet? There's a lot of machinery inside the hole, and it seems like the planet used the stone as a missile in self-defense. You can always count on planets to be surprisingly resourceful when they want to take out invaders. David's death by the energy charge was basically a planet defense mechanism. You could compare it to a mudrite attack, which is probably a term that means this is a bad idea. Despite all the chaos, the crew remains remarkably composed, pushing forward with their mission to find life on the planet. Even after David's painful demise, the crew still sticks to their mission like nothing happened. Just another day in space. David, oh, he's just dead. Now, about that parasite. Then they find a metallic type parasite attached to the machinery on the planet. A metallic parasite? That's new, and possibly terrifying. They bring it inside the space station for further study. The mission is clear. Figure out if life is possible here, and the parasite is going to be the key to understanding it. Isn't that always the case? If it moves, study it. If it attacks, study it more. Classic space logic. Rhea, in a rather scientific move, takes a sample of this metallic parasite, which is very much alive and capable of transforming at the cellular level. A shape-shifting parasite, just what every space explorer needs for a relaxing mission. The parasite can attach itself to any human, which does not sounds like a good time. Cue Adi, who comes in to talk to Raya. He sees the parasite trying to break out of its glass box. Oh yeah, that's exactly how things go wrong in space movies. Rhea is alerted, but before they can do anything, the parasite breaks free and jumps into Adi. Now, under the parasite's control, Adi becomes a threat to Raya, attacking her. Because because who wouldn't want to be possessed by a creepy alien parasite? In comes Kevin to the rescue, because it's not a good movie unless a character runs in at the last second to save the day. Kevin fights Addie, and after a struggle stabs him, forcing the parasite to leave Addie's body. The old stabbing the possessed person trick. Classic. But where does the parasite go now? Straight into Kevin, because you know it had nothing better to do. Now Kevin is under the parasite's control, and he starts attacking Raya. But wait, here comes Clark. Seriously, this crew just doesn't get a break. Clark starts fighting Kevin, but things don't get better fast. Enter Brio. Oh boy, this guy. He's been missing for a bit, but now he's back. Raya asks Brio for help to save Clark, but instead of helping, Brio runs away. So Kevin chases him down and using a stick kills Brio. Now, with Brio dead, Clark is sent out of the space station by Raya, presumably so he can get to another spaceship. And then comes the most unexpected twist. Kevin arrives, calling out to Raya in a normal voice. Kevin, with all the charm of a parasite-infected individual, starts kissing Raya, but it turns out this is all a trick by the parasite. Surprise! It was never Kevin, it was the parasite using him as its puppet. So Rhea, having just stabbed Kevin, a real love versus survival moment, finds herself at the mercy of the parasite. After finishing off her love in the most tragic way, the parasite enters her body through the wound, because apparently you can't just kill a parasite without it trying to make itself at home. It attaches itself near her brain but doesn't fully take control. Instead, it starts talking to her from within. The parasite, in its villain monologue, reveals that the humans have caused their own destruction, and now the parasite species has come to do the same on other planets. But there's a twist. The parasite species has an advanced collective high mind, and they won't let humans destroy other planets. So we have an alien species trying to prevent humanity from causing interplanetary chaos? Talk about a role reversal. It also explains that the parasite chose Raya because she is human. Now, the shocking revelation, the memory loss Raya suffered was because of the parasite. The Brio she kept seeing wasn't actually there. It was a delusion created by the parasite to mislead her. So Brio's tragic betrayal, all an illusion. Ouch. Clark, who seemed infected, was never actually the one attacking Raya. Instead, it was Raya herself, under the parasite's control. So, in the opening scenes, when Rhea woke up, her crew had already been killed by the parasite. Clark was the last one left, and Raya had chased her away. Clark probably returned to save Raya, but the parasite, in a desperate bid to preserve its host, killed her. And we thought we had complicated relationships. The parasite's true goal becomes apparent. It's using Rhea to get back to Earth via the space station, where it would destroy the entire planet. Wow, Earth doesn't stand a chance with that parasite on the loose. And the craziest part, the parasite could control the space station, possibly because of its metallic properties. So it's not just a mind parasite, it's got machine-like abilities too. Fantastic. The entire time there were subtle clues, like warning signals, that indicated something was very wrong aboard the station. It was always right under their noses, like the creepiest game of hide and seek ever. Eventually, Rhea gets the parasite removed with the help of Medbot through a painful surgery. Here's hoping the Medbot knows what it's doing. But the parasite didn't go quietly. The information it left behind was in a weird childlike language in Japanese. Because sure, why not add that layer of complexity? After surgery, Rhea's memories start to return. So to sum up, Rhea's been caught in this insane web of alien parasites, illusions, and betrayals. The parasite's ultimate goal was to take over Earth, using Rhea's body as a vessel. All the while, Rhea's been fighting not only for her life, but for her sanity, dealing with memories twisted by the parasite's control. After Raya finally defeats the parasite for now, it takes over Brio's body to survive, turning him into a parasite monster. This was another mind-boggling moment in the movie, as the parasite proves its ability to transform itself at the cellular level. Rhea tries to fight it, but nothing works. The monster is too powerful. Rhea finally burns the parasite using a flamethrower, which seems to calm the monster, for now. In the post-credits scene, things get even worse. The parasite's high mind and metallic properties take over the entire space station. It transforms the space station into a monstrous entity, now with tentacles. And just when we think it's over, it's hinted that a small piece of the parasite may have survived and stowed away with Raya. This leaves us with a huge cliffhanger, implying the parasite parasite is still a threat, and maybe it will eventually make it to Earth. In the end, the parasite is so adaptable, it can make itself bigger or smaller, and it's clear that it only attacked because it saw humanity as a threat. When it entered the humans, it learned their intentions, and in self-defense, it decided to destroy them. So instead of just being a mindless creature, it's driven by survival instincts. That's some next level horror. So if you liked the video, please like it. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe and comment below, so I will meet you all with the next video. Till then, stay ghostly.